Thank you for joining the Financial Brokerage webinar today on 3 Secrets to Creating Your Own Leads with Brian Leising of Financial Brokerage. The session is about to begin. There will be a question and answer period at the end of the webinar. All questions must be typed. This can be done at the bottom of the control panel on your screen. So without further ado, welcome Brian.
Thank you very much, Justin, and good morning, everybody. I'm glad you had an opportunity to take some time out of your morning to join us here as we discuss the 3 secrets to creating your own leads. You know, this topic really came about by a question I'm frequently asked, especially by folks that are new to us here at Financial Brokerage. A lot of people will ask, what do you guys have for leads? How can you help me get in front of people? And, you know, we're not a lead company. We do have links to some discounted leads on our website, but that's not, you know, that's not our purview necessarily. So what we can offer in my response is usually that the top producers I work with here do not get the majority of their business in the door through leads. They've created other ways to get in front of people. And so that's what we're going to be discussing this morning, the strategies employed by some of our top life insurance producers here at Financial Brokerage to create those leads. And so those strategies really boil down to 3 main items. We've got annual reviews. Other folks get business in the door through referrals, and multiple ways to obtain those referrals. And then the third method is through a targeted mailing campaign or even an emailing campaign. And all these strategies by the top producers boil down to one or maybe many of these 3 items right here. We'll break them down even further. The reviews break down into reviews by design and reviews that are conducted by chance. The referrals happen through networking and also through direct asking of clients. And then we'll discuss some of the marketing campaigns that other folks have employed. So starting off with the reviews, I'm going to be referencing first names of some of the producers I've had the privilege of working with over the years here. And we'll review what they do and sort of go in a progressive manner here. The reviews by design, you know, start off with phone calls. You could take that one step further by sending out a mailing to your clients, and yet another step further and send out a mailing and or an email to your clients. The reviews by chance, so we'll discuss a producer who is really an expert at this. Just about anybody he walks into has the potential for becoming a client. So to start off, one producer I've had a chance to work with for several years here is name of Stan, and the way he gets the majority of his business in the door is by reviewing his client files. Now, he looks for several things before calling up a client. He keeps track of all the policy statements that come in the door. Now, granted, he's been in business about 20 or 30 years now. But Stan looks through those files. He looks to see what clients have a term policy that might be ending within a couple of years here. Same thing would apply to their conversion period ending. You know, if they need that coverage, and he finds many people do still need their term coverage after the end of the term, that's a great time to discuss a new policy with them, or maybe a permanent plan. Chances are if they've got term insurance, they've had term insurance expire in the past. And so he has an opportunity to speak to them about getting some permanent coverage in place so they can sort of end that endless term cycle. He also he lives in a small town, and he has an opportunity to run into people at all sorts of events, whether it's at a ball game or at the golf course, a picnic, you know, you name it. He's walked around town. He's going to meet some people that are clients of his. They don't always come into town, but that's likely going to trigger him to look through their files, give them a phone call, and mention, hey, why don't we review your policy? It's been a few years. We need to sit down and do that. And he initiates everything with a simple phone call. Nothing too fancy here. Just calls him up. And I've had a couple other folks initiate the reviews the same way. Nothing too fancy. So it can certainly be done this way. Just monitor all of your client statements when they come in the door. Now, you can take that a step further. A gentleman by the name of Dennis has done that, and Dennis does this a little bit differently. He gets a lot of his business in the door through reviews, but these are initiated oftentimes by a letter that goes out to the client. So now, when does this letter go out? Well, he keeps track of the same things that Stan does, and probably a little bit more. Policy anniversaries, a client's birthday, maybe their wedding anniversary. Always good to remind certain people that that day is coming up, and stays in touch with people multiple times a year. Now, I don't have a copy of his current mailer he sends out, but it has a basic statement at the top and saying, has anything changed in your life recently? Please check the following if anything has changed. And he lists the typical major life events like a new job, maybe they've moved, maybe they've had an addition to the family, and any one of those things, it could be a reason for those folks to review their life insurance policy. The old policy might not be doing an adequate job anymore. Maybe they need more coverage. Maybe they need a different type of coverage. And all of those are triggers to start a review. So he gets a lot of business in the door that way through the mailer. Now, again, these review methods keep getting progressively more detailed. Now, one producer I work with by the name of Rosemary, she takes this to a whole nother level. She actually goes through her client list every month and pre-selects 100 clients, and she'll send them a letter on a topic of interest. It's not just the general, here's the life-changing events, call us. She will give a paragraph or two on something that she's already pretty sure they're going to have an interest in. Maybe it's long-term care coverage or disability coverage or planning for retirement. But the letter is just enough to pique their interest, and it directs them to her website. Now, she has some smart tracking on her site because it can track who visits the site and how often they're there. And because of that tracking, she knows that about 90% of those people visit her website each and every month. She gets 200 to 250 hits on the site per month. That means that if we've got 90 out of 100, some of those people are going there more than once, and those people are the folks that get the very first phone calls. They're obviously interested in whatever it was she happened to send to them. Now, she has a private individual contracted to do this for her, but we have a couple resources here at Financial Brokerage if you'd like to start something on your own. One of these is the Life Jacket system that has been put together by Genworth Life, and if it's something you're interested in, I can certainly email you the details on that. Then also on our website, we have the email marketing campaign tool. If you have existing clients, we can assist you with uploading the email addresses and sending out a newsletter, and doing the same sort of tracking here. We can track it, or even train you on how you can track it and do exactly what Rosemary is doing on your own through the marketing. So those were the three designed and pre-planned out client review marketing methods. Now, if you don't have a large number of clients built up already, those three folks I mentioned, they've been at this for a good 2 to 3 decades already. How can you conduct client reviews if you don't have a base of clients? Well, a gentleman by the name of Randy, he is an expert at this. In fact, I don't think he's ever met a stranger. Anybody he walks up to, he's probably going to ask them this question: who handles your term life insurance? And he's famous for making a client out of an employee at a local home improvement store who was helping him with some lumber he was purchasing one Saturday. And just in the course of a conversation, he asked him, by the way, who handles your term life insurance? And you're going to get one of two answers when you ask that question. One is going to be, I don't have any. And that should lead to further questioning on your part about the need for life insurance. Do they owe anybody money? Is there income that needs to be replaced if they're gone? And hopefully from that conversation you can get an appointment. Now, what about half the population is going to say that they're going to give you a name. And then that's going to lead to the next question he asks there, which is, when was the last time you reviewed your policy? And typical answer there is, what do you mean, review my policy? I haven't seen that guy who sold me that life insurance since the day I bought it. He collected his paycheck and walked away. His follow-up typically goes along the lines of, well, if you haven't reviewed your policy in the last 6 months or last year, rates have changed, you might be paying too much. We should get together and take a look. So this is a method, probably not the exact same wording, but close to it. He has made clients of folks he sat next to at high school football games. I mentioned the home improvement store. I saw him one time at a reception after a seminar, and I think he just about wrote a policy on one of the bartenders there. So just about anybody he runs across could become a client, and you could do the same thing. Just get out there and anywhere where you are in front of people, you have an opportunity to conduct a review with other people's clients. So those are the review methods, either by some systematic design or by chance. The second way I found most of my top producers get business in the door is through referrals, and they've perfected a way to obtain these referrals, and it really boils down to two ways. One is through networking, where they've amassed a huge network of other professionals in the community, other business owners that will send people their way, and they in turn send clients to them. And then the other method is just directly asking the people that you're in front of when you're on the appointment. So we'll discuss the three methods first through the networking system, and this is the same Randy I mentioned earlier, but also a buddy of his in the same metropolitan area by the name of Tommy, and they've got a big network of other professionals around town. They include attorneys, registered reps, group health insurance specialists, property casualty agents, accountants, people that specialize in related areas, related businesses that may or may not have a life insurance license, but they really don't want to sell life insurance, so they would rather send their clients over to Randy and Tommy. Randy and Tommy don't get involved in these other forms of insurance, and they would rather have an expert involved, and they send their clients over to these other folks. So a good part, I know, of Tommy's business comes from these referrals. Every month he's got 2 or 3 prospects that have come from a couple property casualty agents in particular. And so if you don't have a network of those folks already put together, one thing I would do is start calling people go beyond that and just drop by offices. Let them know who you are, what you do. Drop off your brochure, your business card, and mention to them that you're looking to have some attorneys, some accountants that you can refer your clients to, maybe some property casualty agents. Let them know you don't specialize in that area. You would like to have a whole bunch of other professionals on speed dial that you can call when a client has a question or a client has a need, and then you would expect that they would do the same thing. And I would set aside an hour or two every week to drop by offices and do that and build up that network. You can also do this through a targeted mailing campaign. You can select a group of accountants or attorneys and get the names and addresses and do the same thing via mail. You can follow that up with a phone call, and then ultimately you want to be able to drop by their office and let them know who you are. Another way to get referrals through networking, a producer by the name of JR, he takes what Tommy and Randy do, I think, to another level yet again. With his practice, he works primarily with senior clientele, but he goes outside of what we normally think of as insurance or financial services related professions, the accountants and attorneys and CPAs, since these seniors oftentimes need help with a lot of projects around the house. He's got a whole network of folks from plumbers to electricians, hairdressers, mechanics, lawn service professionals, people that deal with swimming pools. You name it. Maybe it's a person who works on a garage door, even. Anything a senior clientele might need help with around the house. He's got them on file and can refer his clients to these folks for help, and they love him for that. They're going to keep going back to him. They're not going to find another advisor to use because they know they can call JR for just about anything, and he knows someone that they can trust. And likewise, once you work up this network, all these other businesses are going to be referring their clients back to you since you've given them a lot of business. Now, another way you can do this, going beyond what JR does, you can get yourself a business account on Facebook, and you can just really expand the whole universe of people that know you and know what you do. You can have all the people that are in your network there start referring you to all their friends, and you can see how this can just expand exponentially. You can do the same thing on Twitter. If you're actively tweeting out there, you can accumulate other followers, and if you're putting out some good information, some useful tips from time to time, it's a great way for other people to get to know you. And one of the things about using Facebook and Twitter this way, it costs you nothing. Those accounts are free. You just have to monitor them and be out there and put content out there. And your name and what you do is going to go literally all over the world. So beyond networking, the next commonly used method for receiving referrals is actually asking for them. Whether you're on an appointment or you're on a call trying to get the appointment, Tommy and Dennis have come up with some innovative ways to get the referrals. Everyone's got their own personal preference for a line of questioning to ask your clients who else you might be able to help or who you might be able to assist. But they actually offer some incentives for referrals. So Tommy has developed his Lunch on Me gift card, and this is, I don't know, probably whatever would cover a lunch to a local restaurant, maybe something like an Applebee's, I would imagine, and we'll give the client a gift card in return for just 3 referrals. He's got a form he hands to them, and they can put down the referral's name and address, phone number, and he'll then follow up by asking a few more questions about that person. Dennis, for years, has offered free movie tickets for 5 referrals. And go to the local theater and get enough tickets for the whole family, maybe a certificate for popcorn and pop and all that. And they just make it a fun event if they return the 5 referrals to him. So beyond asking and getting good at how you ask, it doesn't hurt to offer a little incentive to your clients, and they're more than happy to give those referrals, and then they're going to remember you too when they're enjoying the lunch or out there enjoying the movie. So so far we've discussed annual reviews. You have clients to meet. Annual reviews. If you don't have clients, you can review other people's clients essentially, and then asking for referrals. If you've exhausted those opportunities or would like to use something else, this one here is the only one out here that would actually cost you any money. And it's a targeted mailing campaign. Now, this is a little different than purchasing leads. With a typical lead purchase, you're paying money and you're receiving contact information from a person who has somehow, some way indicated that they have an interest in purchasing life insurance. And you never really know exactly what the person was responding to, how strong a response it was. Sometimes these leads end up being shared with several other agents, and you don't know if you're the first one to call them, you don't know if you're the last one, you don't know if the lead's been sitting around for 6 months. So it's a little sketchy. I have a couple producers, and I'll show you their numbers in a minute, that have had tremendous success over the years with the targeted mailing campaign. And a lot of these folks will use this to supplement their other prospecting methods. So basically, and I don't have a copy of the piece that they're using here, but they send out a mailer to these clients, and they target one specific group, one particular occupation, and that's important because you want the person to actually read the piece you're sending out. So it might say, attention, great rates for firefighters or police officers, or great rates for teachers, or call us for great rates on life insurance for business owners. It really doesn't matter what occupation or what demographic you choose. Just put the name of that demographic on the top. And what these pieces all have in common, too, would be some sample insurance rates right in the middle, and then their contact information at the bottom of the piece. And whatever carrier you end up using, make sure you get approval from the carrier before you send it out. But here's the numbers that these folks have seen off of a targeted mailing campaign. So Ron, he has done this for several years. He mails out to one specific occupation, and he sends out 4,000 pieces per month, every month. And the numbers that these are numbers I gathered from him a few years ago. They may have changed over the years, but this is what they were a few years back. He would receive 120 responses from this mailing. That led to 90 life insurance quotes, turned into 20 life applications, and he does pretty well with these folks. 90% of those that are submitted actually place in force. So he's doing some underwriting pre-screening and making sure that they're actually going to be receiving those policies. So you can do the math based on your average life insurance premium that you write. If you could write 20 life applications each and every month, how much money would you make at the end of the year? And all it cost you was mailing 4,000 pieces every month. We've got a guy in another area in the middle of the country, and he chose a different group to mail to. He chose to mail to business owners, and the way he worked, he ended up sending about the same amount of pieces every month. He sent out 5,000, but it was off of a 15,000 person list, and he would repeat every quarter. And there's some validity to this with drip marketing. You know, a lot of people might not pay attention to what they see from you the first one or two times, or even the third time. By the fourth time, they should have a good idea of who you are, and they're actually going to pay attention. So he will remail to the same list of people every quarter, pulling out the people that have already responded, of course. And that can keep your costs down for the list. So sends out 5,000 a month, and he mailed to business owners that had, I think, between 5 and 250 employees there. And the respondees he found were typically men, ages 45 and 60, and they almost all had an existing term life insurance policy. It was about ready to expire, 2 or 3 years. So when they purchased this, 15, 10 years earlier, they didn't expect to need the coverage anymore. Maybe they thought they'd sell the business by that time or move on to something else. That wasn't the case. They're still running the business. It's successful. They need more coverage, and they certainly need the coverage to continue. Now, one thing, too, these folks aren't in their 20s and 30s anymore. Due to their age, the cost of insurance has gone up. Their health is oftentimes not as good as it was 20, 30 years ago either. And so those health conditions lead to higher premiums. And they're more than happy to pay the higher premiums because they can't be without the coverage. So they're going to buy coverage from somebody. They might as well buy it from you. So out of 5,000 pieces per month, he got about 12 to 13 responses. This is averaged out over an entire year, and that turned in about a range of 8 to 9 applications per month. And again, these were pretty large life insurance premiums that he was receiving off of this. And of course, it's a business owner using this as a lead-in to other business, maybe get a look at their retirement plan, maybe their buy-sell arrangements, key person business, if part of your practice involves group business, whether it's group health or additional payroll deduction, employee benefits. What a great way to get a foot in the door here with these folks. And you're making a lot of money with the door opener to begin with. Now, if you're looking to see how you can do something like this, we can assist you with crafting the piece. Several of our carriers have pre-made pieces ready to go. They'll print up to a certain quantity for free if you send them the names and addresses. They can print that. Some of them will do it at a particular cost. You're responsible for the mailing yourself, of course. And if you need a list of people to mail to, I can walk you through our Leads on Demand system at our website, fb-inc.com. You can go through there and select whatever demographic you want to market to in your area and get started with a targeted mailing campaign. So to review, all of the strategies here to generate your own leads. There's the method of using reviews, and this works really well if you have an abundance of clients built up over the years. You can call them, and that's effective. You can mail them a letter. We know that works. You can also direct them to your website or send out emails to them, and we know that works as well. You can also create your clients through referrals, whether it's networking with other professionals or other businesses around town, or simply asking your clients. You can get creative and offer them a little something extra for those referrals. And beyond that, we know that a targeted mailing campaign definitely works to get new clients in the door. You can do it the old-fashioned way through mailing, and you can also do it through emailing these days and get your name out there. So these are the 3 secrets to creating your own leads. Well, there's no need to pay a lead company for something you can actually do better yourself. And we do have an opportunity for all of you to ask questions. You can type them in, and we'll see how many I'm able to get to here as time allows. And also, if there are some other producers you know of that you think would benefit from this information or from working with us here at Financial Brokerage, by all means, don't keep us a secret. We're never too busy to see who else we can help. And I'd like to thank you all for attending today. Make sure that you catch next week's webinar. That'll happen on Wednesday, June 13th, and we're going to have the ultimate referral expert speaking, Bill Cates. He's a referral coach. He's going to present CPAs and strategic networking that dovetails very nicely with some of the concepts that we discussed here this morning. If you have not received your invitation to the Bill Cates webinar next week, make sure you contact us here at 800-397-9999. See if I can find that phone number there for you. Absolutely, there it is. So if there are any questions somebody didn't have a chance to ask, feel free to give me a call, 800-397-9999. My extension is 3371. Hope everybody can join us next Wednesday for Bill Cates. Hope you all have a wonderful day.